Vince McMahon is under federal investigation. Plus, Johnny Gargano has a WWE return being teased, and Paige says, sign me up to an AEW debut. It's all in the wrestling news right now. When Vince McMahon resigned on Friday, we kind of thought, all right, what's on the horizon here?
Yeah.
Seems very sudden. We didn't have to wait long to find out. The Wall Street Journal yesterday announcing the following. New federal investigations into the deepening hush money scandal enveloping World Wrestling Entertainment hastened the retirement of its chief executive, Vince McMahon, according to people familiar with the matter. So Vince's retirement sped up by what we are finding out in today, basically, due to certain unrecorded expenses by Vince McMahon that date back to 2006. WWE announced yesterday via a statement that they would be restating financial statements for 2019, 2020, and 2021. They'll also be doing the same for the first quarter of 2022. This is to take into consideration expenses from Vince McMahon totaling $14.6 million. In a SEC filing made yesterday, WWE stated that it made a preliminary determination that payments made by Vince McMahon totaling this amount should have been recorded as company expenses. Now, the Wall Street Journal has revealed that Securities and the Exchange Commission, as well as federal prosecutors, have launched inquiries into the hush money payments made to settle misconduct allegations from Vince McMahon. Now, one thing that we're keen to clear up is in terms of how this money was given out. Because initially some of the reports made it seem like the money has come from WWE's coffers.
Yeah.
When really, and it's Tony Maglio who shared some details on this, he's the executive editor of IndieWire. He says, I'm told WWE is revising financial statements due to the potential qualitative benefit of the NDAs that Vince had the women sign. The payments were wire transfers from Vince's personal funds, and the expenses will be recorded similar to a severance pay as a one-time expense. So basically these payments, this hush money, as it's called, was paid from Vince's account into WWE's, and it was treated as an expense, as a severance pay.
Right, okay.
Essentially. So that's that. It's very murky water, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. And it's really tough to kind of wrap your head around all the... I don't want to say like legal mumbo jumbo sort of, you know, all the wording and everything. I mean, it goes straight over my head most of the time anyway, but it means
there's been a lot of money paid by Vince McMahon and they've put it through the company, essentially.
Yeah, but obviously not, you know, recorded it as company expenses though. No. And obviously this keeps, as you said, it keeps becoming much more murky as things unravel too. I don't think he's coming back anytime.
Certainly not the case if Wrestling Observer is anything to go by. Dave Meltzer, Brian Alvarez talked about this particular element of the story and a HBO Real Sports story that is set to come out about Vince McMahon that is said to contain, and I quote, damning details. We don't know in terms of what that will mean, but as you said there, Andrew, it's looking more and more likely that Vince McMahon probably won't be back in WWE. No. Some think it'll be a case of waiting until the heat dies down, but I don't know whether this is a fire that will go out anytime soon.
Exactly, I really don't see, as you just said, I don't see it going out anytime soon. I think this is something that is going to damage Vince's reputation, for the rest of the time that he's probably here with us, you know?
Now, the WWE corporate website has now been updated to reflect Vince McMahon's retirement. He's been removed from all listings and also removed as a WWE board of director. So he is, like, there is nowhere, according to the website, that he is still involved with the company in that sense anyway. And it all turned to last night on Raw, the beginning of a new era.
Yeah, did you see the photo on Twitter of Triple H stood there with the headset on, looking out at the ring?
It was great.
It was an amazing photo.
I feel really good about Triple H coming back to take over things. I really do. Like we often get lambasted for for taking shots at WWE and calling them out on decisions that we don't like. We do get that a lot, and a lot of places get that a lot. But truthfully, I'm a wrestling fan because of WWE. We all are. We became wrestling fans because of WWE, and all I've ever wanted is to believe it when I say trust the process. And believe that there is somebody at the helm with the best interests of the company and the passion of the interests of the company at heart. I genuinely believe that Triple H has that. This might be a video that in 10 years' time ages like milk when they're picking pieces of the WWE network off a landfill somewhere. I don't know. But I feel like at this particular time, this feels like a really exciting moment.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like, Triple H has always seemed as though he's a type of person, I said this before on the news with Adam, who has, he's very tapped in to the wrestling world now. He knows what's going on. He knows like modern products. I think he has a good mind for modernizing WWE as well, where, you know, obviously you've had a lot of the old guards looking over the entire creative process of WWE for a long time. Vince McMahon's, your Pritchards, your John Laurinaitis's. This feels like it's about to shift into as we've said multiple times, a new era and something that is definitely fresh for WWE, and something it's not felt fresh in WWE for a while, I think. And this is why it's exciting, right?
Now, he led a meeting of the Raw staff, talent, and roster hopefully before that lovely picture was taken. Where he promised more transparency and open lines of communication for the talent and himself. He also wanted work to be fun again, you know, and he's keen on that. This meeting, Fightful Select say, was met with a lot of optimism backstage. There's a lot of positivity coming out of the fact that Triple H is now leading the WWE creative. You feel it on all sides, because the roster on the whole are excited because Triple H is somebody that is overall deemed as very approachable, with both the talent relations side and the creative side under him. Feels like that's going to happen. It's reflected in the share prices, with not only Vince going away, but this new movement and this new change behind the scenes. It's reflected in shares. And it's also reflected with the networks, because USA Today said they're really excited. A source close to them contacted Fightful Select and said, we're really excited about Triple H running the creative again. So this is a really exciting time for wrestling. You know what? I think this is going to be an interesting turning point for WWE, and I'm keen to see more. And already those gears have started turning about some of those people that Triple H really believed in potentially making their way back, such as Johnny Gargano.
Oh my God, the boy. So Grayson Waller posted a picture of him assaulting Johnny Gargano, and that was taken from Gargano's last match in NXT, if you remember, which has led to speculation that Gargano might be returning to WWE. So Triple H officially began as WWE head of creative last night, and obviously we all know he was a huge fan. Of Johnny Gargano. Oh, what do you reckon to seeing Ciampa and Gargano on the main roster?
I think that's something that we could see. I think there's a lot of Triple H guys who are still just about in the system. Who I think there's a lot of optimism with. You know, Tommaso Ciampa hasn't really got his wheels going yet on Raw, it feels like, and I think maybe Triple H will have some designs on what we go with there. But in terms of the Johnny Gargano, I think that Gargano always liked NXT because there was a fear about what the main roster would have waiting for him. I don't think that fear is there anymore. No, and for a lot of people.
And I assume that's where a lot of the excitement comes from too. You know, where someone sort of transitions from NXT to main roster WWE, there must have been for people a little bit of trepidation for that happening, because a lot of what sort of makes you get stripped away from you almost sometimes. That's
something that's been very much the modern era of call-ups, like the curse of the call-up has very much been a thing. You know, that it hopefully goes without saying that some of WWE's biggest stars right now have come through the system successfully. Your Roman Reigns your Seth Rollins it's all part of that system. But you can't ignore the fact that there has been this weird sort of bad juju as you cross the Bifrost between NXT and WWE main roster.
Of course, and like I think with Triple H there, and obviously as someone who helps to hone these superstars' personalities and careers and everything, as they go from NXT into the main roster, it's always good to have the development, the character development that we see, but also I think remains important to have the consistency. And I think that's what Triple H will take into account when seeing these superstars move up.
And I think that's what Johnny Gargano may take into account in terms of what he does in wrestling next. As for Paige, what is next for Paige? Now she's away from WWE. Well, there's been a little bit of an intriguing conversation on the Twitters. Britt Baker was saying in an interview how Paige is one of her dream opponents, saying, I'm a huge fan of Paige. I love her. I love her mum. I wrestled her mum before. She's such an inspirational figure. She holds her head high. And her in a wrestling ring again, if I'm not in the match, I want to be ringside watching it because she is one of my favorites to watch. Her energy. She'd come out to the ring and do that sideways skip up the ramp. Made me so excited. I used to play her entrance music in my car, so I'm a big fan. I think Britt Baker's a fan of Paige. Don't know.
Do you reckon?
Just sort of quietly mentions it there. Paige reacted to what Baker said on Twitter by tweeting, "Sign me up! I love me some Britt Baker."
We're growing ever closer, aren't we, to Paige returning to the ring and
returning at AEW.
Yeah, I think in AEW, I think there's a lot of cool matches that could be had there, and I think I think one that a lot of people would have thought about would be a Britt Baker versus Paige match too. I think their styles would like gel really well together.
They'd have a good time with that one. Definitely one that we will keep an eye on. We are busy bees here at Cultaholic. Check out the podcast feed in a little bit. Remember the story that we talked about with Axiom?
Yes.
And how it incurred the wrath of independent wrestler Razor Wing.
Absolutely.
For their shocking similarity. Razor Wing's on the podcast feed later today talking about it. We've got Razor Wing on. He's going to talk about his reaction to the debut of Axiom and sort of what's happened since then. And I want you to get to know him because he's ace. He's had an amazing career through Chikara. He's doing loads of stuff with Lucha Vavoom. He's part of a great promotion supporting mental health called Dropkick Depression. Talk all about that and loads of other stuff. That's on the podcast feed a little later on today. Some other great content from you that you're working on today. I don't want to give too much away.
No, we've got a list going out tonight. Loads of us have worked on it and it'll be ready to go out this evening, so look out for that too.
You come in here on my daughter's birthday.
On my daughter.
You come in here to break away from doing that list. So go now.
Now?
Go, Ed.
Now?
Go, because I've kept you too long.
I'm
go
going.
now. Go now. He's gone to finish editing the list, and you'll see it on the channel later. I don't like him. I'm joking. Love you. Bye. Kiss, kiss. That's the news.